World Kiteboarding League World Cup headed to the Netherlands for the first and only event in Dutch shores this year for the 2017 Texel Kiteboarding World Cup. The marshy, sand dune-covered shores of Texel host one of the most important kiteboarding events of the year, where the greatest freestyle kiteboarders on earth would battle it out for the 2017 WKL World title. The natural beauty of Texel, with its distinctive geography and unique flora and fauna, makes it a popular destination for visitors from across the Netherlands and throughout Europe. 1/3 of the island is a protected nature reserve, and the rest features iconic Dutch lighthouses and windmills. This biggest and most populous island in the Wadden Sea is also very popular with sports enthusiasts, providing the perfect setting for cycling, horseback riding, hiking, and yachting. And Texel has a unique place in Dutch and European naval and maritime history. It is also, of course, one of the world's most ideal locations for kiteboarding, and visitors and fans flocked in their thousands to witness the Texel Kiteboarding World Cup in action, round 2 of the 2017 WKL World Tour. The world's top riders in men's and women's freestyle descended on Texel in their quest for the 2017 WKL title. Foremost among them was 2016 world champion Carlos Mario of Brazil, but he was proven to be a mere mortal in round 1 in Leucate, France, where he had to settle for runner-up to Spaniard Liam Whaley.
Coming out of a win in the first event of the year, I was obviously super motivated, and I wanted to go out and train really hard after that event. So I was planning to go to a lot of places that have good wind over the summer. Yeah, unfortunately, things didn't go to plan, and I injured my back pretty much a few weeks after the event, and so I spent pretty much 2 months off the water, no kiting. I thought the injury would go away quickly, but as the event came closer, it just stayed there, and luckily enough, about 10 days before the event, I was able to get back on the water and the back was feeling okay. So I've had 4 sessions before this event. It's obviously not enough training. All the other riders have been on top of their game, training for the last 3-4 months. So yeah, it's definitely, I've got a bit of a disadvantage in this event, but I'm going to put all my heart into it, and yeah, hopefully I can come out with an okay result and get some points.
Also in the mix in the men's are the likes of Alex Pastor, David Tony Juan, Seth Tejera, Stefan Spiesberger, and local legend and former world champion Yuri Zun.
Yesterday we had the draw of the first round, and you can see that every single heat is just straight up like a tough one. So already from the first moment, you got to go full in, and you got to make sure to get first or second in that heat, so you're advancing into the 3rd round. So that's my goal for today, tomorrow, or whatever day we're going to ride. And of course try to win the event.
In the women's field, defending world champion Bruna Kajia also kicked off her 2017 campaign with a win in Leucate, but the likes of Hannah Whiteley, Annabelle van Westerop, Paula Novotna, local talent Annaloes Lammerts, and Rita Arnaus would give her a run for her money.
I'm looking forward to start this competition. I have been training a lot for the past month. I had an injury, so I could not kite for 2 months, but we didn't have competition, so I could have my time to train in my tricks. I already had a couple of sessions here, and it was very good. The wind is constant, it's a little bit tricky.
I've had some great preparation before coming to this event. I've been training in Greece for 3 weeks, so I feel really ready to do my best and yeah, have a great time here in Holland.
Many of the riders arrived yesterday, so we had a little nice warm-up session on the water, and actually it was better than expected. Nice, flat water between the waves and a good steady wind. So I'm really excited to go in the water and get my jersey back on.
first heat of round 1 of the Men's Elite League, it was a highly competitive lineup comprised of sensational big air masters Robinson Hilario and Aduri Corniel of the Dominican Republic, Filipino talent Christian Tio, Belgian Jerome Cleetons, round 1 podium placer Set Tejera of Brazil, and former world champion and WKL heavyweight Alex Pastor of Spain. Filipino rider Christian Tio raises eyebrows right from the start with a 7-point double heart attack. Dominican rider Robinson Hilario goes out and does the exact same trick, scoring 6.47. His fellow Dominican Aduri Corniel gets the same score off a front blind mob. It looks like this is going to be a tight heat. Belgian rider Jerome Cleetons is out next. The pressure is on. He does a KGB with a rough landing for 5.47. Brazilian ace Set Tejera is out next. The Brazilian in fine form since last year. A backside 317 earns him a big 8.17 to shoot him into the lead. Last man out is former world champion Alex Pastor, but the Spaniard can't find the wind he was looking for and barely any points for him. On to the second tricks. This time Christian Tio crashes out while Robinson Hilario lands a decent slim 5 for 5.83. Aduri Corniel is upping the ante, however, laying down a solid double heart attack for a score of 7.17. Good result. Cleetons goes for the same trick for 6.83, the Belgian letting them know he's a contender. A 6.6 front blind mob from Set Tejera is followed by Alex Pastor. Can he make up for that first trick? But he crashes out on his second trick. His chances appear to be dwindling. Round 1 podium maker Tejera goes out on his third trick and produces an excellent slim 7 for 7.47, making him the man to beat in this heat. Alex Pastor knows he needs to be flawless now to compete, and he pulls out a 6.7 back mob 5 to his relief. Christian Tio feels the heat, knowing he has to start producing the big points if he's to make the top 2. And look at that, a 7.77 backside 317. That's just what he needed. But the fluctuating conditions meant that riders had to contend with low winds for tricks 4 and 5. The experienced Alex Pastor knew how to make the most of it, executing a stunning 7.93 KGB 5, signaling he was back in contention for the heat. Jerome Cleetons, on the other hand, struggled with the low winds, crashing out on his 4th, 5th, and 6th tricks, effectively ending his chances. Robinson Hilario had to start producing the big points too, but 2 crashes and 2 mediocre results meant he went into the final trick on the back heel. Set Tejera also struggled, knowing he had the safety of those early big points, but unable to produce a single 5-pointer on his next 3 tricks. The man who knows how to turn fortune to his favor is Alex Pastor, and another 2 solid tricks, including a 6.57 backside 315, helps move him into second position for the heat. It was all down to the final tricks, and it was make or break for all 6 riders. Christian Tio crashed out, forfeiting his chance for a top 2 finish. Robinson Hilario got in a good front blind mob, but the shaky landing denied him the big points he needed. Aduri Corniel still had a shot at the top 2, but he too is not comfortable with the low winds, and he makes do with a 5.5 score on his final backside 315. Although both Tejera and Pastor also struggled with their final tricks, they were able to hold on for the top 2 positions to see themselves directly into round 3. A WKL event is a festival for all ages, where the competition on the water is complemented by events, concerts, parties, fun, and relaxation, all of which sums up the kiteboarding spirit. Danish ace Teresa Tabel gives us the lowdown.
Hey everyone, I'm Teresa, and today is a late day here in the World Kiteboarding League in Texel. But it's been a great day. The sun is here, everybody's smiling, so we're happy about that. As you see behind me right now, there's a great setup. We have the brands representing. We have a lot of different brands showing off the new equipment. It's really exciting. Have loads of people on the beach chilling, enjoying the lovely weather. We have the area where we pump our kites, big containers where we store our gear. And then furthermore, we have a really nice writer's lounge where we have great food. We had some beach volley going on. We had some table tennis going on. In the back here we have our judge tower. We have big screens where the whole live TV crew is preparing the live stream for you guys. It's been a great day. Everybody's happy and yeah, I'm enjoying my time.
While riders work hard on the water, they also like to party hard at night, mixing with spectators and fans as they lose themselves in the rhythm of the music. Former world champion Yuri Zun is an iconic name in kiteboarding, not only an outstanding competitor but also an ambassador for the sport who had a fundamental role in establishing the World Kiteboarding League.
I started kiteboarding in 2002. I was 12 at that time, and I mean that's a very young age, especially back in the days. I mean the gear wasn't as advanced as it is right now in terms of deep power, safety, easy handling. But I mean it was a good time. You learned a lot from it. For me, kiteboarding, well, it's my job, it's my passion as well, of course, and it got me. You know, I traveled all over the world, which is beautiful, of course. Like to the most exotic locations, also to bad places. You know, it's not always that you can choose where you go. Sometimes you just have to. And I mean, it's great to see the same guys every time on the tour. You know, they're close friends as well, but at the same time, they're your competitors as well. Like as soon as the heat is on, and it doesn't really matter who you're riding at. And you know, sometimes I'm traveling all the way over the globe to the other side of the world by plane, and you know, sometimes I have the opportunity to come, you know, with my camper here in Holland and just living a very, you know, relaxed style, I would say. I never had the moment of not being able to continue. Of course, you always doubt if things are going bad, if you have an injury, you think about like, am I able? But then you look at other sports as well, and you know, injuries just occur. You know, luckily I'm still here. I'm training a lot for it. I'm working out a lot to keep my body fit, and things are still going. You do feel it a little bit that you're slowly getting a little older, but I mean, just keep training hard for it, and it's the body still keeps working. Like my kiteboarding sessions usually are like 2 sessions a day of 45 minutes, 45 to an hour, so quite short, not that much. Besides that, I train a lot in the gym. I run, I swim, I bike. The most important thing is just to keep the muscles strong. Yeah, the young guys nowadays, they're 16, 17, and their level is incredibly high. I would say it's way higher than mine, but I think in competition in general, it really comes down to that one heat. What are you gonna do in that heat? And I think experience counts a lot as well. So I think, especially when the conditions are getting a little bit harder, the experience that I have and that I gained over all those years is definitely helping me a lot. My expectations, the future, I mean, actually 1 year ago, not 2 years ago, I said like I'll probably do another 2 years, but right here, I'm still here. I mean, last year I got second again. I was fighting for the title. So yeah, hopefully this year I can do that again, and probably gonna do it until I'm 30, so another 2 years. But then again, you know, if I'm able to compete for the title, then I will continue it, because this is something that I really like to do, and competing is just a whole different thing than just free riding. So yeah, probably another 2 more years, and hopefully in those 2 years, like, the sport is really gonna grow. Right now with the World Kiteboarding League, we have a really nice product, live scoring, live stream. So we're really growing in those terms as well. We're trying to reach the big media. And hopefully kiteboarding gets more and more popular, and that would be really good to see, especially for the young riders as well. So they have a really, you know, bright future, I would say.
He Heat 2 of the Men's Elite League Round 1 saw former champions competing against new championship talent, along with the winner of last year's Round 1, all in the same group. The 6 riders were 2016 Cabarete champion Luis Alberto Cruz, former world champion Yuri Zun, and up-and-coming championship contenders like David Tonijuan, Alex Neto, Arthur Gilbert, and Antoine Fermon. Dominican Luis Alberto Cruz is off to a flying start with a huge 7.87317. Gilbert goes out after Cruz and makes a good front blind mobe for 6.37. His fellow Frenchman Antoine Fermon went for the same trick for a score of 6.4. All eyes were on Dutch ace Yuri Zun. He's a favorite to finish this group in the top 2, but his initial outing was cautious, a 6.6 back mobe 5. Meanwhile, Alex Neto and David Tonijuan both struggled on their first tricks before recovering for some decent points on their second tricks, a 6.2 kgb for Tonijuan and a 6.53 for Neto. Zun continued his consistent start, backing up his first trick with another solid result, a 6.67 front blind mobe. Luis Alberto Cruz took back to the water as his Dominican countryman watched on. He produced a 6.67 blind mobe. Good score. Gilbert knows he needs to come up with the goods in this group, and he doesn't disappoint with a 7-point double heart attack. His fellow Frenchman Fermon knocks out a decent 6.07 crow mobe, but that might not cut it at this level. Alex Neto's double heart attack and David Tonijuan's front blind mobe also failed to produce the big points as Yuri Zun goes out and nails a huge 315 for 7.17, moving him into the lead. But Luis Alberto Cruz loves a good scrap and he rises to the Zun challenge with 2 solid tricks in a row, while Gilbert, Neto, and Tonijuan all fight to stay in contention. Neto says, "I'm in it too," with a 7.37 score on a KGB, and Tonijuan stays on target with a crow mobe 5. But then Zun comes out and blasts out an 8-point stunner, his 317 cementing the Dutch rider's lead. Now the others knew it was make or break for the top 2 slot. And Luis Alberto Cruz did not disappoint, landing a 7.63 gem of a backside 315, which moved him into first place. Try as they might, Gilbert, Fermon, and Neto failed to produce the scores they needed to keep up. But David Tonijuan was not about to give in. He went for the 317 on a score of 7.65. Not enough for the top 2, but it sees him into third and on to round 2. It was down to 2 men, Zun and Cruz, for the Heat win. But Yuri Zun shocked the crowd as he crashed his 6th trick and barely got anything on his 7th, and that handed the surprise Heat 2 win to Luis Alberto Cruz. What a result for the Dominican rider. Zun goes through into round 3 in 2nd position. Proudly sporting the flags of the Netherlands and her native Aruba, Annabelle van Westerop tells us about her story from the beaches of the Caribbean to the top ranks of the freestyle kiteboarding world.
I started kiteboarding when I was 14, and I got into it because my dad started at first with a friend, and because of that my mom and I started coming to the beach a little bit more, and I was 13 at that time. I started windsurfing for a little bit, and that was really nice. I did that for about 6 months, but it wasn't my thing. It wasn't quite my thing. So then, I was watching my dad and all the other kiters, and they were jumping and flying through the air. So when I was 14, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I started getting lessons. So I'm a very competitive person, so that means that, I started to compete in the local competitions in Aruba. I went to Venezuela once, and that went really well. And then slowly I get my first sponsor, and they start to support me. And when I was finishing my school and I was 18 years old, I got an international contract with a sponsor. And before I knew it, I was traveling the world, and it's the best thing I ever did. So in 2014, everything was getting a little bit too much. I didn't feel so well, and I went through a burnout. And this took altogether maybe 1 year, but I took off for 3 months at that time competing. And I learned a lot from that. My burnout was really tough time in my life, but I came out of it much, much stronger. I learned a lot about myself, how to find the balance, how to, treat myself well and appreciate everything that I'm having, that I'm going through. So yeah, I'm very grateful actually that happened to me, because I learned so much and I feel so much stronger today. So for the future, I really want to become world champion. Of course, that's the goal. I've never been this close. So I'm very motivated, very committed, and yeah, of course I want it to happen as soon as possible. And every competition I'll go to, I'll try my best to achieve that. Yeah, of course it's super demanding of your body. It's a very physical sport. You need to be strong. You need to be able to handle the power in the crashes. So I practice a lot at the gym. I do a lot of strength training, and next to that I practice a lot of yoga. And yoga is one of the things that I started with because of kiteboarding. But by now it's kind of turned into a lifestyle. I'm a certified yoga teacher as well, and that's just something that really, it's not only your body to stay physically strong and flexible, but also mentally it's really helping you to feel good, to be in shape, and to be able to perform well mentally as well in a competition.
Every word I hear rings true, as long as I can be here with you.
With the winds low, the kiteboarding brands got a chance to introduce their new technologies, products, and innovations. Alex Mays and Annaloes Lammerts gave us a rundown of their new equipment.
I'm really passionate about gear, and I'm here to help the younger generation to make sure they do good tricks and to help them with the scores and everything. Every year boards are improving. Every year we have new materials. Sport is growing, so we have to make sure every year we come with better materials and that the boards are better and better every year. This year with the new CBL, you have a very resistant base grind, so you can take the board to the cable or do your first unhook tricks with it. It's very nice board and easy. And we have this year we have new sidewalls that are a little bit more resistant, so you'll be able to keep it as long as possible. It comes in a 142 or 139. It's very important when you're choosing your first board to not take a too small board. So you want to have a little bit bigger board, so you'll be able to ride on very easy at the beginning. Then I'm moving on to the Excalibur. It comes in wood and in carbon. So if you're riding on a bit more choppy water, you should definitely go for the wood one. There's more flex and it's way easier and better for your knees. And if you want to go on flat water, then you should definitely go for the carbon one.
I'm going to walk you through the rest of our board lineup. Alex just told you something about our wake style board and freestyle board. And here we actually have the free ride lineup. We'll start with the bottom one. It's a Spectrum. It's perfect if you start kiteboarding and you're looking to buy your first kiteboard. Very easy to go upwind, and you will progress a lot with the board, learn to jump, and so on. The second one is a Tronic. This is really our best freeride board. You can ride, smash the waves with it. The shape is super fun. You can jump super high with it. This is a board I'm super excited about. It's a new girls board. We added it to our lineup again. It's the XL. It comes in two sizes, the 133 and the 136. It's an amazing board. We have channels for good grip. The flex is perfect. You still have a good pop, but at the same time it's really comfortable in shop. Really nice for soft landings. Make sure to pass by your local shop and try the board and see which board fits the best with your style.
In the men's Heat 3 of the Elite League, Round 1, it was another cracking group with Round 1 winner and current world standings leader Liam Whaley, British champ Aaron Hadlow, Austrian rider Stefan Spiessberger, French riders Nicolas Delmas and Paul Sarin, and Simon Lamousse of Mauritius. Nicolas Delmas had a solid opener with a 6.5 front blind mob, as did Aaron Hadlow, producing a 6.37 on the same trick. Sarin was having a hard time, still recovering from his knee injury. Whaley also opted for the front blind mob, one-upping his rivals with a 7.03 score to take the early lead. It was a rough start for Spiessberger, crashing out, and Lamousse also in trouble early on. Delmas and Hadlow continued their fine early form, both going for the back mob 5 with a score of 6.4 for Delmas and 6.6 for Hadlow. Meanwhile, Liam Whaley barely scraped out a 4.87 on his Hinterberger mob in his second trick. Spiessberger recovered on his second trick to get a 6.4 front blind mob. On their third tricks, all the riders were struggling except Aaron Hadlow, who continued his consistent form, improving with every trick. And when Delmar and Whaley both crashed their third tricks, Hadlow moved into the lead. On the fourth tricks, two decent 6-pointers from Spiesberger and Lamousse kept them in slim contention, but Paul Saran was out of the running with a 3.13 double heart attack on his fourth trick and barely any points on the fifth. Whaley, Spiesberger, and Lamousse all needed points and a third solid trick, while Delmar and Hadlow had the security of 3 good scores already under their belts. But then it was a low-scoring trick from Delmar and a crash from Hadlow, and suddenly all bets were off. Lamousse produced a solid 6.57 front blind mob, and Whaley also scored above 6 with a double heart attack, putting the pressure on Delmar and Hadlow. But then dropping winds caused the heat to be postponed, and that concluded the 2017 Texel Brunotti Kiteboarding World Cup. While the fun and activities continued in the festival grounds, the poor weather conditions meant that the Elite League heats would not be completed. It was a great event overall, and the competition that was out there was brilliant. See you for more racing in Akyaka, Turkey for round 3 of the WKL World Tour.